friends, and welcome back to a very exciting episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast, the classiest podcast in all of pro wrestling.
That's right, and we are just 6 days away from WWE's Elimination Chamber.
Yes, Perth, Australia.
They are going a hell of a long way. I don't know how they're going to pull this off on Friday night. They're going to do SmackDown, then all of a sudden they're going to get on a plane. They're going to get all the way down to Australia and have to wrestle. And if you don't understand what I'm getting at, then you don't understand professional wrestling. They just recorded SmackDown 2 episodes this past week because they are going to be in Perth, Australia. It's an 18-hour flight.
Something like that.
It's
absolutely
ridiculous.
Insane.
So they would literally have to wrestle SmackDown, get on a plane, fly to fucking Australia, and then wrestle Elimination Chamber, which is one of the most brutal style of matches in WWE.
Oh, I absolutely love the Elimination Chamber. I'm looking forward to it, but I got to be honest, and I'd love to know if anybody else is going to be up at 5 a.m. Eastern, that's where we're at, Eastern time, to actually watch this thing, or if you're planning on, like us, just waking up and not turning on your phone.
My alarm will probably go off because I always forget to turn off my alarms for work throughout the weekend. So my lazy ass might have an eyeball open trying to throw a shoe at my phone to get it to shut off. Besides that, I'm waiting until I get up in the morning.
That's too early. At least need some breakfast and a cup of coffee before we start.
Before we really get into it, I think then that brings up a question. Is there really anything worth getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch this? I know it's Elimination Chamber, and I just said it is probably one of the most brutal and honestly one of the more exciting matches that WWE puts on. Chamber. It's a very out-of-pocket match for WWE. You know, you got your cage match, which happens every once in a blue moon. Your Hell in a Cell happened. I think the last one was Finn and Edge when he was still there.
Yeah.
So they don't really happen that often. So when you get something like this, it's like, okay, this is going to be something a little bit special. And every year they always make Chamber special.
They do.
But with that being said, as of right now, we only have 4 matches on the card. Is there really anything to get up at 5 a.m. to I can't miss? Or is this it just feels like with the way they're playing it out with the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes and everything, Seth Rollins, it just doesn't feel... I don't have that urge of I need to be up and watching it live.
No, I don't think there's a need to be up and watch it live.
I'm excited for the matches. I don't want to diminish that, but I feel like a lot of us just looking at this as it's a pay-per-view where we're just getting through to WrestleMania.
If you wanted people to watch it, you should have done The Rock versus Cody, like we speculated, and had whoever wins actually faces Roman or something like that, where people are like, oh my God, I actually have to wake up super early to watch this. But the idea of a pre-show premium live event starting at 4:30 in the morning is
I'm sure they're going to have some type of
insane.
Live, pre-show talk show.
They said it starts at 4:30.
So they are having one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
It's going to be interesting to see what the numbers are after all this, because you know how the internet is. They regurgitate the numbers as soon as they're readily available, whether they're double checked or not. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the live statistics of Perth is going to be.
Sure,
this is definitely for that area of the world, so that they can definitely build up that fan base over there.
Absolutely,
and they don't get a lot as is, so to get a pay-per-view, a premium live event like this is definitely going to be an awesome
huge
thing
with
for
Rhea
them.
Ripley on what's probably going to be the main
Bronson
event.
Reed, though.
I don't really understand why Bronson Reed didn't win. And I never liked the stereotypical, I can see from a mile away who's going to win this one. But I was like, oh, all day, Bronson's got this. I
thought the same thing.
Huge in Australia, came from there. Rhea Ripley used to go to indie shows to watch Bronson Reed wrestle. You would think that he would have made it, but he ended up losing his eliminator qualifying match. Dominic ended up losing his match, so he's not even fighting in Australia. He's just going there for moral support for mommy.
I'm sure he will be there.
I'm sure he'll be there.
Perth wants to boo Dommy.
Oh yeah, it's too easy for a cheap heat when it comes to Dom. You
need to make mixed tag team matches in WWE a thing, so you can make Dom and Mommy a tag team. So you can just call them Dommy.
Dommy.
But
that actually works in multiple ways.
You are going to have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes will be on the Grayson Waller effect, which will be on the Elimination Chamber. So who knows? You might see some Bloodline ethics. But if we're going to bring up the Bloodline,
let's do.
Very interesting development in the Bloodline story.
Yes.
More stories are coming out other than just Cody's. But The Rock is officially a member of the Bloodline.
Yes, he came out in a $5,000 Versace shirt and Old Rock is back,
Break
baby.
that down. Yeah, he comes out with the dark glasses, the chain, like you said, the $5,000 Versace vest. He's got the swagger.
Back, man.
He's talking the cheap, low-hanging insults. The Utah. He came out. Oh,
the rating or the statistics one with the
world record. He comes out and tells Utah
like
that not only have you made a world record for like whatever it was. It gets the crowd all hyped that they broke a world record for not just Salt Lake City, but for the entire state of Utah. It's an attendance record, and that whole crowd's going nuts. And it says, you are the stupidest crowd that has ever all conglomerated in one spot, in one building. I love it. It's one of those moments that this entire time I've been feeding into exactly what WWE wants me to do. I'm hating The Rock. I'm absolutely just seething every time I see Dwayne Johnson on my TV. But last two podcasts, you can hear that. I've just been not super happy. Why is he taking away a spot from a younger talent? Why this? Why that? And it was this when he turns and just gets the crowd to go from so elated and happy.
It's like a roller coaster ride.
To the most irritated with this man. Just looking at him going, he did it. He got me. Like, he went in the back and said, yo, did you hear that pop? That got them so good. And he got me so good. Because it's just, I forget that they're just actors.
Oh, for sure. This is their job to make you to hate them. You know, we're sitting there watching it, and I had a moment where I laughed, and I looked at you, and I was just like, this is where MJF gets it. Right. To where you can have people so happy with you, you know, cheering, laughter, applauding for you, and then instantly turn to where they're super mad and booing, and then 2.5 minutes later you can turn it again and they're happy, and you turn again and they're mad, and they keep going with everything along the ride. That's exactly what The Rock did here. And the first time we watched it, we weren't really sure about how it was. We actually went back and rewatched it and realized like the pure genius that was involved in that promo, and how he just shit all over everybody, the crowd, the people watching, the people that were in attendance, the Cody fans, the people that wanted Cody to win.
I don't know. It's so good. Like it's classic Rock. It is. I mean, if you've forgotten, it's hard to remember how good of a heel Rock can be, because when he first came into the WWE, he was Rocky Maivia. People hated him.
Oh,
Rocky sucks. You know, all this stuff. And then he turned that into, and he does it so well. He turns the negative into a positive, spins it, turns it into a heel turn that defined him as a wrestler for the next 10, 15, actually the rest of his life, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's hard to remember how good of a heel he is, because he's been such a face for years, like coming back into the company, being, you know, whoever he's talking about, like, he's always on the fan side.
Yeah.
He's the people's champion.
He's
the
Disney
people's
superstar.
choice. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's a Disney superstar.
It's funny.
And so it's always easy to forget how well of a heel he can be. And this is just a perfect example of how he can do it. The only thing is, I just thought the end line was, if you smell what the Bloodline is cooking.
Yeah, that was bad.
Candy ass line. Just awful. It was like you had this great promo about just how good he is and this, that, the classic Rock heel promo. And
started to do the, can you smell? And then it was like, hey, this isn't sing-along time with The Rock. Don't be quoting me. I was like, that's good. All right, that's good.
And then with the Bloodlines, I was like, man, that was
canned.
I don't know. It fell flat for me. But other than that,
it was well done. It was well done, and it was needed, because Roman doesn't have that voice. Roman can sell a little bit to being mean to the crowd, but not really. So when
Roman
you put somebody like
Roman sounds like he wrote his promo 3 days ago and he's recited it 16 times.
For real.
Like he's part
that's
of 4-H
just part of the
contest.
time, you know? Yeah. Oh God, I think that's a Florida thing. Oh, Cody, yeah, the guy that ruined my life, or something like that, you know? Like I get it. But putting The Rock in there kind of gives the voice to the Bloodline for somebody that can obviously speak to the crowd, pander to the crowd, be the talking point. Right. The reason we're talking about it right now is because he's able to do what he can do.
And of course, this is all going to bubble into like The Rock and Roman butting heads, because eventually you can't have two alpha males in, you know, one group without them looking at each other like, well, I'm the leader of this. Well, no, I'm the leader of this.
I think it's got to come down to The Rock saying, you know, I'm the real head of the Bloodline here.
Which means it's going to end up being Rock and Roman at some point.
Yeah.
So does that mean...
Which kind of throws you off to think that Cody's really going to finish his story.
But does that mean we might see, if Cody wins at WrestleMania...
Yeah.
Do you think we might see Rock and Roman night 2?
I just don't see Roman working that much in a whole weekend.
But if you're if your last day of your
he
job,
works that much a quarter.
Your last day of your job that you're really like, they've been real good to you.
Last
They've
day,
given you everything
he's
in the world.
done, he's gonna start acting or something.
Like when he loses the belt, he's walking away for a hot minute.
Okay.
So what do you do when you walk away from the business? You put the next guy over.
You put the next guy over. He's gonna put The Rock over, and
of course
let
he's
The
gonna
Rock
put the Rock
win, and
because
he's done.
The Rock's gonna be part of WWE. He's a board member, for fuck's sake.
What's that gonna do after Cody wins the story, though?
Cody's gonna have the belt. He's not gonna give a shit what happens to Roman.
No. I just meant I don't know. What does that do for Roman after he just lost to Cody? Why would we want to see him fight another night in a row?
The sunset.
No, for 2 nights in a row, it's this guy lost. Now we got to see him fight Roman again.
You wouldn't watch 2 nights in a row Roman Reigns getting beat?
Okay, good point.
By The Rock, who finally has had enough of his crybaby, wine baby bullshit.
Okay, all right.
I would watch that in a heartbeat. Sign me up. I'll buy it right now. What do you need? $10.99 or $10 from fucking Peacock? Let's fucking go. I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, being able to see him lose twice in a weekend would be a great thing, but
I think it'd be
him
great.
Wrestling 2 nights in a weekend.
Then you hit all of the internet wrestling community's loves and wants. You give Cody the belt, and you end up dethroning Roman.
Yeah.
And then you give everybody else who wants to see Rock and Roman the next night, the fuming, mad as hell, just lost his title.
And that's the main event of WrestleMania? Not Cody Roman after all? So after all of this...
Cody's in the back with his belt just laughing.
But yeah, okay.
You put the super face over. He starts Monday night.
Yeah.
Raw comes out at fucking 8 o'clock. The crowd is just over the fucking moon. Shinsuke comes out, gets his ass whooped one last time, and then we just go back to WWE regular bullshit.
Yeah.
And then we're miserable for the next 2 years because the Bloodline storyline was really good. What are we doing now?
Yeah, I mean all of that is absolutely a possibility. It's not my hope. I think I'm good without Roman fighting 2 nights in a row. I'm gearing towards similar Bloodline story. I want Cody and Roman night 2 main eventing because that is the main event. Back off. We're not going that route. But I want the Usos to face each other as the main event night 1. Jimmy versus Jay.
Right.
That's got to be it.
Well, Jay does have that title shot against Gunther come Monday, and
got mixed feelings about it. I feel like I'm hopeful.
But boy, that would be a hell of a stipulation come WrestleMania if Jimmy challenges him for the Intercontinental title at Mania.
Oh, love it.
They've wanted a match at Mania. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to win.
A big match.
Somebody's got to win.
They had a great one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What better for a title? You're not going to be able to put the world title on either one of them. Not this early in a single
I don't think so. I think that's why Gunther. I think that's why Gunther's going to lose his title eventually, is because he's the next Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? He's the next.
Oh, 100%. He's already surpassed that Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think that's where Jay would really fit well. Do you think there's a possibility he could win on Monday?
Oh yeah.
When this comes out, it could be tonight. You think Jay could win?
I 100% think Jay has a good possibility to win.
Main event.
He's a huge fan favorite.
Oh,
he pushes numbers.
Huge isn't even fair.
Not that Gunther doesn't. But Gunther could take that loss. He's already got a historical title run.
That's where I'm at, too. He's already got that legendary run.
You give Jay the title, and then the next week you have Jimmy come out and do some bullshittery.
And now they're going to face each other at WrestleMania.
They're feuding.
Love it.
And he gets him
it's better with a title, you know?
Almost ends up getting Jay the loss and another title fight with his Intercontinental title, but is barely able to get it out. And then you set that up for Mania. There's your Mania match between Jimmy and Jey Uso.
Love it.
They go for the Intercontinental title. It is the biggest match of their singles career or as their brothers.
Oh, for sure.
At Mania, you've got your Mania moment. You're, like I said, unless you build them up for the next year doing this, then you can put the world title on one of them. But then it's like, you got to build up for another year.
Right.
Do this right now. You get it. And then you put them as a tag team 6 months down the road. Once the bloodline crumbles, Solo Sikoa ends up fighting Roman Reigns. Yep. Fucking Jimmy sees the error of his ways, goes back to Jay. We all know it's going to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping Solo might win it from Roman eventually, that they would
title?
Push it like that, but they have not had Solo really be doing anything. What do you think would happen for Solo after all of this bloodline collapsing? Does he go with his brothers? Does he go on a singles run?
I could see Solo feuding with Braun Breaker.
Oh, that would be fun. I feel like he's just going to stay, like Paul Heyman's going to stay with him, though.
Yes, once Roman goes away and the Usos get out of the bloodline and do their thing, Rock goes home back to Maui number 2. I think Solo is going to end up having Paul Heyman, maybe not on a constant basis, but definitely as a wise man at
Yes,
his disposal.
exactly.
Because I do believe he is the future of that Bloodline story,
Agreed.
which you could definitely bring up
Agreed.
5, 6, 7 years down the road of, I was once part of the most dominant faction in all of professional wrestling. I'm reviving it. My brothers are back. My little brother is back. My nephew is back. Or he's in the WWE now. Whoever else in the Bloodline. Nia Jax has joined us.
Whoever else they want to just doodle off to the side and justify.
What I mean? Drew McIntyre, I think he's going to be adopted here pretty soon, the way they're running him. But yeah, you could still do a lot of stuff with this Bloodline once it ends up splintering.
So speaking of Drew, the future honorary Uce, there's some speculation as to whether or not Drew might
I don't know if Jay will ever let him be an honorary Uce.
Thought he might have had a new contract.
Well, there's been questions about Drew's contract coming up, especially around the time CM Punk ended up coming back at Survivor Series. There was rumors that he was not particularly excited about his creative in WWE in the last portion of his contract, and with his end date coming up very soon, there was a lot of speculation that maybe he might be done with the company because nobody's announced that he's re-signed. However, there's been a couple of dates for international shows with WWE that's advertising Drew McIntyre, and of course, it's never outside of the question.
Sure, subject to change.
Right, and never, say never when it comes to professional wrestling. So it could be them just hoping that he'll re-sign. But there's a lot of rumors. Again, it's all rumors and speculations that he might have already signed a new contract, hence the idea of why he is in the Elimination Chamber, going to Perth, why he's advertised for shows.
Yeah, and he's being pushed a lot.
He has pushed a lot, especially with his heel turn. There's been a lot of momentum with him. He's got something going on with Sami Zayn kind of on the outside of the Elimination Chamber. Same thing
CM
he's
Punk
got.
T-shirt.
He's got the CM, they really pushed hard on that CM Punk stuff once he got injured. And
it's all good. I really like it, actually.
so, I could see that there might be the writing on the wall that Drew has re-signed with WWE. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I think that's probably his best decision. I think so too. Going to an Impact or an AEW or a GCW and finding the success that he might find in WWE.
Yeah.
He fits the motif of a professional wrestler in WWE, and he's known for the past couple of years he's been a great asset to WWE. I just wanted to, like I said, I know you asked about it, but yeah, I wrote that down because I just wanted to bring it up. It's just interesting because he's been a major player recently with the Elimination Chamber, so having him not re-sign with WWE feels like not the greatest option. So again, it's weird, speculation. Right? I'm sure we will find out over the next couple of months.
I think Sheamus's contract is up within the next few months, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, and they've, I guess, officially dissolved the Brawling Brutes now that Butch is no longer Butch. He is Pete Dunne.
That was the right move, though.
What are they called now?
I think it's the New Catch Republic.
That's right. So, and I don't know what's going on with Rich Holland. He hasn't been around for a little bit.
No, but neither has Sheamus, really. Where has he been?
Right, he had that match with...
At all.
I think he had the match with Edge, and that was the last time we ended up seeing him, really.
Oh, the last match with Edge? That was the last time? Wow.
I believe so.
That was a long time ago. At least it feels like it.
If I remember right, he was hurt and he was recovering, but I know his contract's coming up as well, so...
It's one of those things where it's like, well, there's no way somebody like Drew or Sheamus could ever leave WWE, but after Claudio left and Bryan Danielson left, I feel like
I think
anything's possible.
I think it's a very good possibility that Sheamus will leave. Or at least not
I would actually
re-signed.
be excited by that.
I don't think it's a matter of Sheamus leaving. I think it's a matter of Sheamus not being re-signed by TKO Holdings.
Okay. You don't think he would leave on his own accord, but would obviously leave if he was told he had to?
It would be, depending on what, and this all depends, like I said, depends on what an individual wants in their career.
Sure.
But if he just wants the paycheck, if he just wants a steady job with, doing wrestling, WWE is the place to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not like he's going to be pushed. He might get a world title run one more time before the end of his career.
Doubtful.
He really is in the last few years of his really good run of a career. I think
in WWE, at least in that perspective, because they're looking at people that are getting into 20, 25 years of wrestling, and they're like, you don't necessarily have that time left in your career, and I can kind of see that.
When you have a person that's been in the WWE for 20 years, that has been in the forefront, what do you do with an individual that has done a lot of things in WWE?
Sure. Maybe this is a good time.
They're a multi-tag champion. They're a multi-whatever. What else?
So many different
what's
factions,
exciting about these? Whereas you've got somebody like Zoe Stark, who's just you have a wide open field of things you could do with her that she's never done. We've never seen her been in a ladder match. We've never seen her be the world champion. We've never seen her be in a tag team championship. We've never seen her be in the Elimination Chamber match. I know she's got a shot coming up this week. So they're looking at these wrestlers that they've had for 15, 20 years and going, okay, not only what's left on your life of being a professional
what can we do with your storyline, with your,
what can we do with you?
With your character.
Right, right. Okay, you're a 3-time world champion. We've seen that 3 times.
Right.
What are we going to do to make you exciting? And TKO is really starting to look at things and going, okay, we're going to start letting contracts run out of people that aren't going to do us, the company, a profit going forward, and you're going to bring in these younger talent. This entire SmackDown that was recorded was practically nothing but younger talent on the up and come
which is great.
As
it should
wins.
be. We have to be ready for the next generation of wrestlers to kind of take that spot of the guys who've been there for 25
Which
years.
Which has been a huge criticism
totally
of WWE
understandable.
in the past 10 years.
Right. But it's a good opportunity for somebody like Sheamus that if he didn't want to renew his contract or they didn't want him to renew his contract, he could go to something like AEW where, like I said it before, Claudio has gone, who's a huge friend of Sheamus, but also be able to do something like Adam Copeland to where you're doing this for fun, like Bryan Danielson, where it's like you're doing this because you want to. You're picking the matches because you want to, but you're also remembering that you are the older talent. So here is your opportunity to put over Action Andretti and Dante Martin.
And that's what I mean. If that's what he wants, if he wants to leave the WWE, that not easy job. The traveling schedule is probably hell.
Absolutely insane.
But the idea of having just I'm just one of the guys in the locker room that does the job when needed, much like a Miz is right now.
That's what he's great for.
Nobody can blame him after 10, 15 years in the WWE of doing that.
Yeah.
But if he wants more, if he wants to have more exciting matches, he's not done being an artist as a professional wrestler, then that's a good time for him to back out and go, I'm going to go to AEW. I'm going to go
Look
to
at Dolph
Impact
Ziggler.
Or TNA,
Exactly, who's NJPW and
know?
TNA and as Nick Nemeth. It's not that is him. That's his real name. But you still have the time left in your career to be able to redefine yourself in a sense. All right, so you mentioned a little bit before, but this Monday Night Raw, there will be an Elimination Chamber qualifying last chance battle royal.
They must say that 3 times. They're getting these names. Tony Khan must be feeding them. This is how you name things.
It's going to have some interesting names in this match. We have Michin, Alba Fire, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler, which are probably all the losers of the Elimination Chamber matches.
The other five qualifiers.
You. Exactly.
Now, this is an interesting way to choose that 5th one, because there was the rumor for a while that Jade Cargill was supposed to fill the 6th spot in the Elimination Chamber. Hence, why there was only 5 matches scheduled.
And it was like a surprise thing in a sense.
Right. Because other than the battle or other than the Royal Rumble, they haven't used Jade Cargill short of just putting her on TV.
I got to admit, I think they dropped the ball on this one.
It's either they dropped the ball or they got cold feet on Jade Cargill.
Yeah, and I don't know. I haven't seen her train recently. We didn't see a whole lot of her in the Royal Rumble, although I think she did a fantastic job performing the way that she did.
I think she did a good job.
Maybe
I don't know,
it's
fantastic might be stretching it a little bit.
Well, I think that she did what she needed to do. She had her spots where she looked like she can lift. She can lift up heavy women.
Those abs are not just there to look good.
Same with her biceps. She is very strong.
Right.
And she brought a good presence, got the crowd excited, brought a good dynamic where you thought, oh, maybe her and Bianca Belair
she let the WWE
teaming up or
know
facing
that
each other.
Or who she is and what she can do.
Right. I think she did a good job at that, which is what she needed to do. Has she fallen flat with the training? Perhaps, because really she didn't have a lot. And
we
me
brought
personally,
this up last podcast.
Yeah. Me personally, again, I don't know the situation of this, but if you gave me an opportunity and I'm a wrestler who's trying to define myself here. I haven't had a lot of training. I am a sports athlete. She's an athlete. This is how she was found. I'm pretty sure by Brandy and Cody Rhodes. And I'm given the opportunity to train, and I know I'm biased because this is my dude, with Bryan Danielson. I'm sticking around. I'm sticking around, and I'm not saying Shawn Michaels isn't fantastic, and I'm not saying the trainers that they have at NXT in WWE aren't fantastic.
Right.
But I feel like she had a really good opportunity with that one-on-one time, and the time that she had with Bryan, it really showed how much work she put into it. So I hope that the same amount of one-on-one time is given to her, but that also she's putting everything in she did before. And I hope that's enough. I can't speak for it because I haven't seen it, you know?
Well, maybe her leaving AEW was just a little bit too early for her to go to such a big stage like WWE.
Perhaps they pulled the trigger on her a little bit too soon, too. Just seeing what AEW had and was like, you know, her contract's up. Let's see if we can get it.
Well, and I criticized this our last podcast when Jade Cargill got brought up. She had, 50 matches? Let's just use a number. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it was 60.
A lot of those matches were not, long 20-minute one-on-one matches.
Very few of them actually.
A good amount of them were just squash matches with development talent or
local talent.
This person or that person. So she had a great run, an undefeated run, and everybody, really enjoyed her, but it might be a Gable Stevenson kind of idea where you bring him in like, oh, he's the next biggest thing. He's so talented. He's done this. He's done that. And then you put him in the training center and you start running drills. And okay, he's a little bit sluggish. Got to work on that. Okay, now let's take bumps. Okay, doesn't really take bumps as fluid as most people.
Right, which she doesn't really take a lot of bumps well.
It really could be like WWE stuck back and went, shit, we might have bit off more than we could chew on this situation.
Sure.
There was more building to do with Jade Cargill because she's not a veteran that came into AEW and was part of the indie scene for years and learned all this stuff. Like,
not in the slightest.
If I remember right, she was she was a model of sorts and decided to transfer into professional wressling.
Yeah, like I said, she was some type of sports something before. I think she weight training, something like that.
So she has the sports mindset of it, but was never I didn't grow up, watching this. I didn't grow up dreaming to be a professional
Somebody
wrestler.
approached me, not I approached this, I think is the situation, if I'm not mistaken. So that comes at like a negative thing, really, that you're not this lifelong sports or entertainer,
There's
like a wrestling
definitely a benefit
fan.
to watching the product for years and years and wanting this and really wanting to study it instead of looking at it as it's an opportunity to enhance myself as an individual because I can do it.
I feel like they've got some type of investment into her because they keep showing her. They keep...
Well, I mean, yeah, they've definitely put some money definitely put some thought and money into her, but...
They've shown, like, Nick Aldis sitting in the bleachers watching. Jade Cargill's right there. Braun Breaker's right there, but Braun Breaker just got his chance to be able to sign to SmackDown now.
I noticed one thing. You bring that up. He had Jade Cargill and Braun Breaker sitting next to him, had two black folders in front of him. When all three of them went to stand up, Nick only had one of the black folders, and the second one was left on the table, but all three of them left, and then you never saw Jade Cargill for the rest of the night. And I thought that was really weird. Was that one of those WWE things in the background that you should have paid attention to 2-3 weeks ago? Or was that just negligence on their part that they just left one there and it looked weird?
Don't know.
And then why wasn't Jade Cargill part of the show for the rest of the night? I just don't understand what they're doing with her.
When Braun Breaker again got his moment, and they
he
said
got signed that night.
He's on SmackDown. So,
but going back to the women's world title number one contender elimination chamber match, hullabaloo, Royal Rumble extravaganza, who do you think's taking it?
I personally, I don't know, seeing the momentum of everybody, seeing how everything's going, love to see Alba Fire be able to win it. But if I'm being honest, my gut instinct is just saying, I really think this is the time for Zoe Stark. Like you said, it's beyond even just the idea that she doesn't have the championship runs and she's like a clean slate.
A fresh slate, right.
But she's come so far since being brought up to NXT, and it's like from NXT, sorry. And it's like, no matter what they do, she finds a way just to like get into the storyline, and she's a great wrestler. She's improved tremendously on the microphone.
Her intensity is out of this world.
It's really, really good. I love her entrance music. And for some reason, WWE just hates to promote Zelina Vega and Michin. And I think they're great. Well, I really do.
Zelina Vega's starting to mix it up with Aaliyah. I think it's Aaliyah from LWO, I guess. The woman
she's an LWO, but that's La Faction and Gobernales.
That's right. I'm sorry.
LFI. It's a little bit confusing, so it doesn't seem like she's going to be going that way. Michin's got the whole thing. They just keep bothering AJ Styles to try to figure out what's wrong with him, but he won't answer.
I've got to agree with you. I've been, when I was looking at these five women, I was stuck between Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. And I'm leaning towards Zoe Stark just because I feel like Zoe Stark is the intensity of Zoe Stark is what I was expecting Shayna Baszler to end up being.
Definitely.
And I just don't feel that Shayna Baszler has like the same. I don't know.
I like Shayna.
She's got like that powerhouse kind of feel.
Yeah.
But not the look.
Sure.
And Zoe Stark has that quick snap intensity.
Yeah.
And she has that look like she's like that.
Agreed. So I don't know. It's just something different. And that's the nice thing about this young talent, you know?
I know. And like I said before, Elimination Chamber is one of the most brutal matches that they have in WWE. And I really think Zoe Stark would fit really well in here. That half leather jacket that she comes out with. That like overtly powerful move set that she has. That's
real
snappy,
gritty, but
it
clean.
looks like everything hurts.
Exactly.
And she's intense.
Yep.
She yells. She's got like a very good look to her. And
she's working hard.
I would love to see her in Chamber. But with that being said, we've got now Zoe Stark in the mix in Elimination Chamber, if that's what we're both agreeing on.
Sure.
Then who's going to end up winning the Elimination Chamber Women's #1 contender elimination or chamber match, whatever it is? You got Becky Lynch, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, and now, well, maybe
supposedly Zoe Stark. We'll find out later in the week. Okay. I would love to see a lot of these people have this opportunity. This is huge because I'm going to go ahead and say right now, we'll do our predictions here in a second, that there's absolutely no way, unless WWE just really wants to shit on everybody, that Nia Jax is winning that match.
Against Rhea Ripley?
Oh my God, no way.
No way.
Mommy
I seriously doubt it.
Always on top, but she's going to win that. It's going to be a huge celebration in Perth. That's going to be the whole thing. The whole thing about this is that Mommy wins. I think that's
Mommy's
the most important part about Elimination Chamber.
I don't mind.
You know what? I don't either. So I think that's the most important part of this is that Rhea Ripley wins.
Right.
We already know that Io Sky and Bayley are going to be wrestling at WrestleMania.
Which,
and I do want to talk about that,
We'll just mention it real quick because there's not much to break down with it. The promo that Damage Control cut on Bayley and Dakota Kai.
So sick.
Amazing. I absolutely love it. I'm glad that they're sticking with the Damage Control like moniker. I loved like the way that they cut the promo. It was in all Japanese and all three of the women just they killed it. Like I absolutely loved it, and I'm so excited to see what they're going to do with these three women.
It felt like they've known each other forever because they actually have known each other for a long time. Right. That's why that works.
I feel like
they've all worked with each other.
I feel like Damage Control was what it was, but it has now built into what it needed to be.
Yeah, this is definitely the best form of it. No offense, not because Bayley isn't there.
No, but
Bayley has redefined herself again. She's so good.
Because Bayley's not there anymore, it's so good.
So going back to my original point, again, no way Rhea Ripley is not winning that world title match.
First prediction, we're both in agreement. Rhea Ripley's walking away with that belt.
Absolutely.
Right.
I'll put whatever we got in the bank account. There's absolutely no way Nia Jax is winning unless The Rock comes in there and helps. The Rock comes in there and helps the Bloodline win one more time.
That's what Solo's going to do. He's going to come out and help his Bloodline cousin, Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Because it's the only other person that could probably handle Mommy.
So, assuming, again, Rhea Ripley wins, whoever is winning the #1 contender Elimination Chamber match will face Mommy.
Right.
I can't help but still be stuck on Becky Lynch.
Yep.
It's the thing that's been teased, but really, like, come on now. It's WrestleMania. What do I want to see at WrestleMania? Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley.
Especially after that promo that Becky Lynch cut on Rhea about you're better than me and I need to make sure that you're not.
And Rhea just kept saying, I'll see you at WrestleMania.
Right.
I'll see you at WrestleMania. Like, I know the tease is good, but the match is going to be that WrestleMania moment. I mean, the Charlotte and Rhea.
Such a good match.
The same thing that you're going to go back and be like, that's it.
One of my favorite WrestleMania matches was Rhea
I think
and
this is going to be the WrestleMania moment that's going to, I really think Cody's going to end up running it all too, but this is going to be another one of those moments that is just everybody's going to remember.
I got to go with Becky Lynch myself as well. I would be upset in any other way if Naomi, Liv. I know Liv has got some history with Rhea Ripley, but she hasn't been around for a good long while.
Hasn't.
It's good to see her back.
Bianca's had a lot of time to be on top. No offense to her. I think she's one of the best wrestlers of our time.
And as
I really
much as
do.
I'd love to see
She's great.
Zoe Stark, as long as she's the one that wins, I don't think she's going to get it. And then
Tiffany Stratton would be an awesome, like,
I think it's great that she's in Chamber.
Yeah, everybody would be like, can you believe that actually happened? Because Tiffany can wrestle.
Okay, and I brought this up.
She's good.
I brought this up earlier in the week with you.
Yeah.
I think having Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton would be awesome. You've got dark and broody Judgment Day mommy, black makeup, black lipstick, black leather with
it's like
dead
Barbie
angels,
versus Oppenheimer.
and then you've got it 100% is. You've got the Barbie bubblegum pop princess that can fucking throw down just as hard as Rhea Ripley, and they're at a WrestleMania moment.
It would be crazy.
That would be an amazing match. It would be the fanboy in me between these two would be out of this world.
Like you said, this is a hot take. She is WWE's Mariah May.
She really is. She hits hard.
Tiffany Stratton.
She's such a pretty looking girl. She doesn't look like
good on
she
you,
should throw
Ludwig
down.
Kaiser. Wow.
I know, right?
Wow.
She doesn't look like she could throw as hard as she can, and then she gets in the ring.
She's intense.
So
we talk about intensity like Zoe
Yeah.
Stark. Tiffany definitely has that.
So I could see Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton. And again, we were talking about TKO looking at younger talent. This would be an amazing way to put a younger talent
invest your
over.
money in Tiffany for sure.
But I want Becky Lynch.
But come on, that is a WrestleMania moment.
100%.
For sure.
100%.
All right, there's 2 more matches on the Elimination Chamber
as of
now, which seems like you said, that's probably going to be it.
Well, we also have the Grayson Waller effect, so that'll take up 20 minutes of our lives.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be. It's nice to finally see that perspective of it, the Cody perspective of it, the face side of it, as opposed to, the bloodline side of it. Nice that they'll get their time. But when it comes to the tag team division, there will be a match between the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Let me specify in that one.
Well, they're the only champions in Judgment
Day. They are. Definitely. Versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, which is New Catch Republic. I got to keep saying that until it sticks in my head.
It's like New Czech Republic, just catch, not check.
Catch. There you go. That'll help me remember that. Predictions here. What do you think's going to happen? I don't know. I'm really, really, really having a hard time with, do we think that the Judgment Day is going to continue on, and does Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate have enough heat to win the tag team championships? I mean, this does come back down to the same thing you said before. This is a new group of people.
Now, I've never heard of Pete Dunne in WWE before. Not on Raw or SmackDown.
They've never really pushed these guys. If you don't know who they are, do they have enough momentum to be the tag team champions after Elimination Chamber?
I don't think it's a question of whether they have enough momentum. I think they could end up being the tag champions strictly just by how much the fans have reacted to them being together as a tag team. I think they have bigger plans for those tag team titles. I think they're gonna retain those titles
for who?
No.
Who?
I wish Big E was coming back, but even then I doubt it. I think they're going to win Elimination Chamber, and I think they are going to lose those titles at WrestleMania against the Awesome Truth.
Yeah, I mean, they're already having a really fun match on Raw with the Awesome Truth teaming up with DIY, going against all of Judgment Day.
Right.
I'm actually really looking forward to that.
R-Truth just contributed to Dominic Mysterio losing his Elimination Chamber.
He did. He thought he was helping The Miz.
Kevin Owens, yeah. Which just works out for Owens' favor. Truth has been a thorn in all of Judgment Day's side since he's been there, which I've been absolutely loving. As well as we've been kind of seeing rumors about Damian Priest possibly being out of the Judgment Day. So what better?
Sure.
What better way to have Damian Priest finally be ejected from Judgment Day than them losing the tag titles to R-Truth, who was technically kind of brought in by Damian Priest.
He was 100% brought in by Damian Priest. I think that's great. I'm going to go with the Judgment Day definitely in the Elimination Chamber win, because of course WWE is going to be able to get that pivotal shot of Mommy with the belt, with the Judgment Day with the belts.
Right.
R-Truth will probably be hanging out somewhere behind them trying to get in the picture for the promotion that they'll be showing after Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I'm going with the Judgment Day. All right, so that just leaves us the WWE World Heavyweight Title #1 contendership Elimination Chamber match.
This is probably the only one I have not really come to a decision yet on.
Okay, are you kind of between a couple people, or what are your thoughts here? Or would you like me to explain what I think?
I would love to hear what you think.
Okay, finally, this is my opportunity to have the mic and hold my coffee cup high and say I think that I'm going to be the right person in this prediction here.
No.
I'm going to go with the GOAT. Now, first off, before I even
Will
speak,
Ospreay is not in
before
here.
I even speak, okay. Kevin Owens and I think Logan Paul are in this match, this Elimination Chamber match, to further solidify the match that's going to happen between them at WrestleMania, where Kevin Owens wins that title.
I agree.
That's a whole different thing.
100%.
So I don't really even think either of them are there necessarily for the
seriously doubt
story that's involved in the Elimination Chamber. They have their own thing going.
And I seriously doubt Kevin Owens is going to win in the Elimination Chamber, and then I don't know. He doesn't have a choice to what belt he goes after, is it?
You have to go after Seth at this point. You have to go after Seth. So I'm going to go with, again, the GOAT. I'm going with Randy Orton.
Okay.
I think this is a good time. Now, we're talking about people who've been wrestling for a long time.
Right.
Randy Orton's definitely on that list of like 20 years of pro wrestling. He's had his time. He's had his tag team title run with Riddle. Like, he's had this time. I think this might be an opportunity for him to have a moment and actually win this match against Seth, because I think there is a very, very high potential that whoever does win this Elimination Chamber match and goes up against Seth is going to win this title, because Seth is damaged. He's admitted it. I mean, Shinsuke had a whole gimmick against him about how he was broken, and it's true. He needs some work done. I mean, look at Kenny Omega. It happens. Like, sometimes you just have to step back and be like, I need
tear your tricep
a year off. You know what I mean? And I think this is Seth's time. Not that he can't handle it, but I think his body is starting to get to a point where his body can't handle it.
I agree.
I think Randy Orton's gonna win the whole thing, and it's a good momentum forward, because you have to be the guy that like always defends the title. Unless Cody wins, then he can kind of be that workhorse of the
somebody
WWE.
needs to be the workhorse after they beat Roman.
Absolutely.
Somebody needs to show up every, at least once a month.
Yeah, for sure. Cody has that potential. Randy Orton has that potential. That's where I'm kind of leaning here.
And to be honest with you, I've got no definitive answer as of right now. I'm going between Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Drew has a lot of steam, a lot of momentum on him.
But he's also doing something with Sami Zayn on the outside.
Yes.
And I don't think that we're done with that yet. And I'm not sure. But he's due for a title run, like a decent one. His only other WWE championship was, not the best. It was in the Thunderdome times where there's nobody there,
which is unfortunate.
So he's always like, that's been his story is, I need to have that world championship run with
in front of the crowd.
Yeah. I need to get that win with the roar of the crowd and all that. Bobby Lashley, I feel like he's always been like that 3/4 of a guy that's made it. Like, I know he's had the world title, I think twice. But it wasn't like the most impressive title run, and I know he's been mixing it up with the Street Profits as well. So I think that could be a good opportunity to put the belt, or put an opportunity to have him have a belt like that, to put him over as that champion that he really could use.
Which instantly puts him in a feud with Karrion Kross.
Right, with that whole like faction they got going. And then of course Randy Orton, you hit every point on the head. That he's just a big name. Like, put the belt on him, or put him at least in a world title match.
People love him.
Oh, yeah.
People love to root for him.
Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That'd be amazing.
For real. And talk about like consistency. Randy Orton is always consistent. You throw him into a storyline, he's into it. People love him. People love to cheer for him.
And he's been gone for so long. People are dying to see more of him. So this
and the story's kind of blank for him right now. The last thing he really had was the teasing of Roman Reigns and all that recently, but really with Riddle was like the last big storyline that he had. So he's kind of like got this blank slate right now where you could perfectly put him into that championship role, and it's not weird to give Randy Orton that shot at WrestleMania.
So yeah, I will make my prediction come, I guess, Friday night, because it happens Saturday morning.
That's fair. We always give it time.
But those are my 3 picks for the men's Elimination Chamber match.
All right, so heading on over to AEW, we are on the road to Revolution. But before we get into the exciting details and a little bit of speculation as to what's going on at that pay-per-view, Sting's last match is coming up. Tell me, I'm a little bit excited. If you can't tell from my energy, a little bit excited about Revolution.
A lot of people are kind of shitting on this idea because it's been officially announced that Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the EVPs.
Your
of AEW,
EVPs
will be taking on Sting and Darby Allin. I'm assuming for the AEW World Tag Team titles. I don't remember if that was announced. I'm sure that's going to be a part of it.
Assumed, yes.
It's going to be his last match, and boy, it's going to be awfully hard to defend those titles. I love it. I know that I'm supposed to hate it, and it's just like it mirrors The Rock in being like that corporate stooge that is in it for themselves. And even though they haven't made that turn yet of like being, we're EVPs and we deserve this, I'm sure it's coming.
It's just, say what you want to say about CM Punk, but it's everything that CM Punk ever said about the Young Bucks.
It's what everybody says about the Young Bucks on the internet.
Yeah, he's just taking it and they're taking it and turning it around and being like, okay, well, why don't we roll with it? And I think that's what I love about it too, is like, they're great at being faces. They're great at being heels. Same exact thing we talked about with The Rock. Depending on what they need to give you, you'll boo, you'll cheer, you'll do whatever you want. Oh, yeah. A lot of people just want to sit there and say that they hate the Young Bucks. So why not? And be like, okay, we'll give you a reason to hate us.
Throw fuel on the fire. Make it bigger.
Right.
Man, some of those shirts they got coming out for AEW, I'm sure the Young Bucks are going to have some serious ones, especially if they win the titles. Yeah, the EVPs who have been just walking around in the same outfits that are covered in Darby and Sting's blood, right? Wrestling match after match to get their ratings up. Which I love the idea that people shit on the ratings announcement that the ratings were, or the rankings were coming back in AEW. Everybody's we're shitting on the idea, and the two probably most hated people in AEW right now have now exploited the idea that the ranking system is kind of broken if you do nothing but wrestle jobbers your entire time. And even though they did win against Top Flight, I'm not calling them jobbers, but
they even said, ooh, they're good when they hired them.
The majority of their wins have been against enhancement talent or local talent.
Sure.
So the idea that they're taking even that and like leveraging that mechanic in the company that they're EVPs of, so that they can get the world tag title shot against Sting and Darby Allin at Revolution. I love it, and I love that everybody hates it. I think that's what makes me so happy is that everybody hates it.
And after they said that, we won't skew things in a way so that we get that opportunity. We're gonna fight our way to the top,
and they are.
They did.
Like they really are.
And Darby Allin agreed. Absolutely.
Finding people everywhere they go.
Yeah, exactly. Something that happened, obviously, pre-Revolution, not even necessarily not AEW, but adjacent. Bryan Danielson.
Oh, you're going to bring that up?
I have to. Bryan Danielson had another match with the legendary. He's going to go down as one of the best wrestlers of all time. Zack Sabre Jr. You've had plenty of time to find out about this. If you have not watched it, I'm still going to tell you about it. And I'm still going to tell you go back and watch it. New Beginning. This was February 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Wow. Bryan Danielson, clean. He said, I'm 100% healed. My eyes healed. My arms healed. I'm good. I am 100% good. Zack Sabre Jr. beat me. I am no longer the best technical wrestler in the world. He is. When I tell you I got full body chills when I heard him say that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because we read the headline and I was like, until I hear Bryan say that in an interview, and I can see him say that, I don't believe he would say something like that.
They had probably one of the best matches of 2024 yet.
God, it was so good.
And in the post-match interview that NJPW does after every match, which I have grown to absolutely love, and I think more wrestling promotions need to do it, especially just directly after the match, you take 3 minutes, you stand in front of a wall that has all kinds of the sponsors, your logo, whatever else you want on there, and you have that wrestler cut the promo, the post-match promo of their victory, their loss, whatever it may be, what their future plans are, whatever it may be. And he comes out and basically says, I got bested, and now like you said, I'm no longer the best technical wrestler in the world. He has given that moniker to Zack Sabre Jr. and has now challenged him once again for a rubber match on neutral ground to a best 2 out of 3 falls.
Reason being, Bryan has won in AEW. Now Zack has won in NJPW. Right. We want neutral grounds to be able to do this. Now, we can speculate all day. He said any company can call me. Tony Khan would be an absolute idiot not to call them because that literally works for the same company.
Right.
It's neutral grounds to do Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door, yeah. I mean, that only makes sense.
You know, they could do it anywhere. They could do it at CMLL with the way that everything's going and like how everything has been full circle.
He said at the end of that promo, any wrestling promoter that wants to put this on, give me a call.
Hey, Triple H, this is your time, man. Call him up.
Yeah.
Put it on WrestleMania.
GCW, better call, or MLW, better call him up. But yeah, great match. If you haven't seen it, go back. Please watch it. It is just
all of New Beginning. We talked about the cage match. We finally did finish it.
Nuts.
It took us like 3 days to sit there and actually watch the whole entire thing because you have to give it its time. There's so much that happens. There's so many people that are bleeding. And
Will Ospreay's final match in NJPW for the foreseeable future until
also,
he decides to go back.
Okada has his final match on this card.
We haven't watched that one yet, though.
I don't know who actually won. I'm assuming Tanahashi for good reason.
Right.
It's honestly crazy to think that we might be seeing Okada as soon as Revolution or right afterwards. Mercedes Moné is expected to be in AEW.
Have you heard something? I mean, I haven't heard that she's going back there. I couldn't imagine that she would show up at any random.
You know, there's like some tiny little slight hints about like, I don't know, where's she from?
I don't know. I think.
Where's she from? Like Idaho?
I think she's from Beantown.
Beantown, Idaho.
Beantown, Idaho.
I do not know if she's from Beantown, Idaho, but one thing place. It might be, I do know is that one of the greatest factions in AEW right now, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Just by name alone.
Just by name alone, even if you have no idea, no context whatsoever is going on. Bang Bang Scissor Gang sounds like something that was made in like high school.
It sounds like I would get in trouble at work for watching it.
For sure. You definitely couldn't wear their shirts to work.
No. Scissor Me Daddy Ass might not go over very well in the type of industry I'm in. Yeah, HR would have me in there very quickly. What do you think about the Bang Bang Scissor Gang? You love it on the Bang Bang Scissor Gang?
I love the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Right.
I understand.
Real quick, got to acknowledge
The Rock.
The Rock throwing the guns up on SmackDown this week. Had no idea that he was down with the Bang Bang Gang.
Acknowledged the Bang Bang
Amazing.
Scissor Gang.
He acknowledged the Scissor Gang. Just want to point that out. Props to Rock.
How do I feel about the Bang Bang Scissor Gang? Okay, so I love them. Knowing that I don't necessarily think it's going to last a very long time.
And we had talked about this off camera, off mic. You would ask me, or you said something about it, and I said I think that there's going to be a match at Revolution between these guys. And you asked me like, really this early?
Yeah, like you already think that the dissension of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang it's done already.
Now I want to establish my position on the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Okay.
The minute I saw these two groups of three interacting, thought it would be great to have them join forces just because they're so different in presentation.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
They're so over with the fans.
Yeah, in different ways.
However, I think it was something that was magic, but that magic's going to run out real quick because as soon as they had that 12-man tag match on Rampage, was it Rampage or Dynamite? Doesn't matter.
I think it was Rampage.
That 12-man tag match they had this week, I instantly got tired of it.
Yeah, you didn't seem into that at all.
It's too much. There's no way you're going to be able to push a 6-man faction with 2 separate 3-man factions with them, especially with both of them with the trios titles. For one for ROH and one for AEW. My theory is that because we already saw Billy Ass and Jay White were not seeing eye to eye at the end of that match.
Yes, Colton was a little bit upset because it seemed like Billy stole an idea from him.
Right. And you've also got the Guns being Billy Gunn's sons.
Of course.
Even though he's talking about the Acclaim like he's their son.
Yeah, he's already disowned him.
So I think come Revolution, they're going to have a match between the Bang Bang Scissor Gang and we're going to see the combination of the trios tag titles.
Okay. I'd like to theorize my idea.
No.
My idea is more fun.
Absolutely not. This is a one-way podcast. It's my way or the highway.
Peruvian highway.
Peruvian
I'm going to go with, Peruvian coffee. I say the Bang Bang Scissor Gang lives on.
Oh, no.
For just a little bit.
Are you going to steal my idea? I swear if you steal my idea, I'm going to kick you in the shins underneath this table.
Well, go ahead.
Are you going to have them feud against Bullet Club Gold?
It makes so much sense. Bullet Club War Dogs are over there absolutely killing it in NJPW.
I'm not denying that
if you missed it, I'm sorry. You need to go watch New Beginning. Cover your ears. Cover your ears, children. If you want to know, the Bullet Club War Dogs, they were the winners of the steel cage match with United Empire.
Right.
Unfortunately. But you got to put over the next guys. That's the right thing. Will Ospreay did that. Trust me, United Empire did not look weak in this match in any capacity. But
oh, no, anybody's going to look weak compared to the War Dogs.
Good God.
No, I'm 100% on board for having NJPW's Bullet Club taking on Bullet Club Gold. Like, I have been wanting that to happen since last Forbidden Door. But I just don't see... And originally, I thought maybe that the Acclaim would be those people that would be the extra individuals in the Bullet Club Gold to
they need the extra
flesh
fluff.
out the numbers.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the Acclaimed and Bullet Club War Dogs are on the same intensity level in any way.
In two different intensities,
You've
for sure.
got the best of goofy wrestling with skilled individuals.
They're really good.
Like the action movie of professional wrestling.
I don't know what happened with some of them. I think Clark Connors, I don't even know. He lost his mind. Alex Coughlin,
that match was
I'm concerned about.
Concerned about his health as in he's hurt, or concerned at his health as in the way he was conducting himself during that match?
Well, both, and that he didn't care about his health when he was just taking those kendo stick shots. Like, those guys are insane.
It was so good.
Those guys are absolutely insane.
I just don't think that Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed are going to be anything after Revolution.
Perhaps not.
I think it did what it needed to do. We got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. It's raunchy. It's fun. But I don't think it needs to live long. I think it's served its purpose. I think we need to put it on a pedestal, watch it collapse on itself, and then move on with what we're doing.
Then if the dissension happens like that, then the perfect way to do it is to make sure that the Guns and Jay White get pushed in that direction, that they are the ones that win the trios championships. Right. As much as I love the scissor belts, putting some, I guess, seriousness back into like the trios tag team championships would be a really good thing for AEW, coming from House of Black to Acclaimed to like Bullet Club Gold.
It would nice to see a little bit of cohesion with that trios tag title. And because it just feels like it's got sporadic appearances here and there. It gets defended every once in a while.
Right.
But there aren't a lot of trios tag teams. Mm-hmm. The ones that are there, they've all competed for it so many times because they're so few and far between. It's hard to really flesh out that title as much. Hence why I think they're going to combine the two ROH and AEW titles into like a big conglomerate one.
Or just the trios titles in general.
Right. Now you can have Ring of Honor, AEW, and whoever else come in and fight for those titles.
Even CMLL, NJPW, the way that they've opened up all these doors. Yeah, for sure.
Now, AEW is on the road to Revolution. Before we get to that, though, got to call out a good moment in professional wrestling this week. Queen Aminata got her All Elite card.
Yes.
She is All Elite. Great to see her becoming a full-fledged part of a product that, honest to God, they have put her in a handful of matches, and the crowd has absolutely gotten behind her, and I'm really hoping that this is going to end up developing into something to where we're going to see her at least on the pre-show for Revolution. I think that she's got enough momentum right now as just a natural show up and just impress the AEW crowd. For some reason, she does what the crowd wants, and I think that the AEW has a great opportunity to take a new talent that could really be a potentially big star for them and push them in the right way.
Sure. I will even give you more to that, and I will say Queen Aminata versus Taya Valkyrie should be the opening.
That'd be great. Put Taya back up on some AEW, wrestling.
People kind of forget, and I don't know. It's unfortunate. I feel like we were talking about Jade earlier, bringing Jade back into AEW. I feel like when Taya Valkyrie lost to Jade, her momentum just went out the window, and it stinks
100%.
Because I love Taya. If you know anything about Taya, pick a promotion, and she's worked for it, and she's succeeded really well in it.
Oh, she's very well versed in professional wrestling.
She's really good, and she's so good on the mic and so funny with her husband. I absolutely love it. But having her face Queen Aminata would put Taya back in the just away from ROH back into the AEW perspective, and then give Queen Aminata a really good match. But kudos to Anna Jay for having a great match with her and putting over Queen Aminata, who was getting like a lot of cheers, a lot of praise.
It was
awesome.
the crowd has been absolutely behind her. They were chanting her. queen. Like
it was awesome.
And it's really cool to see that because it wasn't something that was forced. It was something that, hey, we're bringing this person in. They're going to do a couple of these matches as just a development talent. And just in those matches, even though she lost, the crowd was solidly behind her 50% of the time. So congrats to her. I'm excited to see what she can do from here on going out. Another thing just to mention, I really have been enjoying, and I know you have been as well, Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Ange has been kind of having this lovey-dovey angle on the side with Saraya kind of interfering with Harley Cameron.
It's kind of fun because it's like wrestling adjacent. It is a little bit more of a let's just put a storyline into something. And yeah, it's a cliche like relationship storyline, but it's interesting because like we found out that Cool Hand Ange was the one that gave Ruby that note about Saraya. Ruby claims that she already know everything about Saraya and Harley Cameron kind of going behind her back and all this stuff. But there's more progression with this, which is kind of fun. I think they're going out for drinks next week is the whole
she said something. I'm busy, but next Wednesday when we go out for a drink. And it's funny because I feel like in this particular, that promo itself with Cool Hand, like Ruby Soho looked like she was so comfortable cutting that promo.
Yeah.
Like
it
really
did seem
like
natural.
She had to hit that kind of sassy, like flirty, see you next week. And the way that she did it, it really felt, it didn't feel like it was a professional wrestler acting in a promotion.
She wasn't
or a
trying
promo.
too hard.
No, it really felt good. And it's interesting because I haven't really been a fan of Ruby since she's been at AEW, whether it's her own fault or just the way she's been booked. But I really she really felt like she was in her element on this one. And it was worth a mention and excited to see what we're going with this.
Something else worth a mention, in my opinion. How do you just throw this in real quick? Something that's worth a mention, in my opinion. Matt Taven versus Orange Cassidy. They had a Texas death match this week.
Right.
I absolutely love, first off, that Matt Taven's getting some love and some time on AEW programming.
He is Matt Taven.
He is Matt Taven. If you don't know a lot about ROH, you've never really seen him and Mike Bennett.
What are we doing? What are you doing listening to a podcast and you're not watching more wrestling than you need to be?
They're so good. Him getting the time with Orange Cassidy was great. He's such a great wrestler.
He really is. I didn't like him the first few times we saw him, but then it didn't take long for me to fall in love with him.
Yeah, and to realize that he's actually a really, really good wrestler. Sometimes he comes off a little bit weird.
Mike Bennett, too.
Yeah, they're amazing. We were lucky enough to see them in ROH live a couple of times when we went down to Orlando.
Actually, 1 year ago today we did that, believe it or not. It came up on my phone.
It was that long ago?
It was that long ago.
Wow, that's absolutely insane. So we've been lucky enough to be able to see something like that. If this is your first Matt Taven match, congratulations. Welcome to...
Again, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Orange Cassidy, I don't even know. I could do a whole episode just about Orange Cassidy. It's crazy. I feel like ever since he's had that match with Jon Moxley, the one that Orange lost the international title. Woo! International title to Jon Moxley. That match.
He's just been on
his intensity has been just insane. I think that match, Orange Cassidy bled. Jon Moxley did not. The intensity again was just so high there, and then they brought it back. And here at this death match again, Orange Cassidy is just bleeding everywhere. Intensity, he never stops. His style fits so well with Matt Taven's.
Well, I think part of Orange Cassidy's rise to where he's at now is he was always looked at and criticized for his style of being the sloth style,
a goofy wrestling or something.
Wrestler, and people saying, "Oh, he can't wrestle." I don't remember the last time somebody stated that Orange Cassidy cannot wrestle. Because
it doesn't come up anymore.
He shows up every week and he challenges. And yes, they're the most random opponents. And yes, he goes out there and puts his hands in his pockets and he does the fake little kicks. He does everything he does, but he 100% delivers in every single match. I have never seen a bad Orange Cassidy match,
or even a mid Orange Cassidy match.
The worst match I ever remember seeing, and it was strictly because I just wasn't on board, was the Mimosa Mayhem match with Chris Jericho. And I don't know. I was not
that was
about
a weird
it.
Match.
It was ridiculous. The idea that just Chris Jericho was trying to come up with a match that no one had ever had before, so they just had pools of orange-colored water everywhere.
I
do, but I don't remember a goddamn thing from the match.
That was COVID times. The whole thing was they had to get into whoever whoever.
No, I remember how you win the match.
Yeah.
I just don't remember anything from the beginning to the end.
It wasn't a memorable match.
But besides that, Orange Cassidy
gimmick.
has proven all the critics wrong. And if you disagree with me on that, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well,
Go back and watch any of his matches, any multi-man match, every single match, title defense, title loss, random piles of matches, the parking lot brawls, whatever you want to put him in. That man shows up with his hands in his pockets, and he might leave with half a gallon of his blood on the floor, but he's still got a thumbs up, got sunglasses on, and he's still just so entertaining.
Listen to Jim Ross talk about him.
100%.
At first he said absolutely, he's like, I don't get it. I don't get the gimmick. I don't get the wrestling. I don't get the style. I don't get the character.
Did not like Orange Cassidy.
I do not get it whatsoever. But he's even said, like, I just needed to see him wrestle.
Yep.
And I think what started off as almost like a joke kind of thing got really serious, and people do understand. And like, I look forward to whatever match he has.
Oh, yeah.
There has never been a time where I'm like, you know what? I am so sick and tired of watching Orange Cassidy matches. And I'm sorry, this may be a hot take to some people. I've said that about Roman Reigns. I can't watch one more Roman Reigns match.
I know.
I've said that, but I've never said that about Orange Cassidy. It's so exciting, and his style, like, no matter who he's fighting, Ishii, Matt Taven, Shibata, like, it works.
Yeah.
It's
and this
so
worked
crazy.
so well. It wasn't a death match like I thought when I first heard about it, I thought it was supposed to be a death match. I thought we were going to see the skewers. I thought we were going to see light tubes. And I was like, that's even extreme for AEW
Sure.
On a Wednesday night. So it's a Texas death match, which the rules is you have to just no rules basically. And you have to, the original rules, I believe, was you had to pin somebody and then they had to be down for a 10 count.
Yeah.
I think they just did the 10 count on this one. But great match. Match of the week. Both Jamie and I agreed on that one. Go back and watch it if you haven't.
Also, there was a really great post-interview match. We've been talking about how you should have these post-interview matches, and this actually happened with Matt Taven. They don't show it. I think it's like social media.
They put it on X.
Yeah.
Which you kind of have to do to cut out time, and NJPW does that as well. They put it as a separate entity besides the premium live event
of course. But not only can Matt Taven wrestle, he's great at promos. Of course, he, like you said earlier, he is Matt Taven.
Oh, he's great on the mic.
He said that the only reason that Orange Cassidy won was because he let him just to set him up for the match
just to soften
with Roderick Strong. Yep. Exactly, to soften him up. I wouldn't take the title because that's Roddy's title.
Right.
And I'm just trying to make sure that Roddy gets that title at Revolution. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I kind of like that. Justifies it a little bit.
Right. So pretty much he's saying that he's didn't give him his full power.
Essentially, yes.
I mean, good on him that he's not taking Roderick Strong's opportunity.
Yes.
Not opportunity, but his right to take that belt, because we all know that the Undisputed Kingdom is going to have all of the gold.
I hope they push them. I hope they do well. I hope they do a little bit more with them. They don't really seem like a faction to kind of worry about. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
I think that's nothing more than just Adam Cole getting hurt accidentally and them just kind of having to ride this out.
MJF's
that too.
Everything else that happened with Adam Cole and what they probably had planned.
Having to just ride it out until Adam Cole's better and they can actually do a little bit more with it.
Right.
Trying to keep them relevant, because I forget about them. I don't know if they're defending the titles over in ROH as far as Matt and or Mike, I'm sorry, and Matt Taven. I don't know if they're defending the titles at ROH, but they have the gold there.
Right.
I don't see Roderick Strong necessarily winning this, and we're not doing speculations for Revolution until next week.
Yeah, that'll be next week. We'll be doing our predictions. But I mean, everything this week's been pretty much has to do with Revolution. I mean, you had Toni and Deanna were in separate matches on their own, but you also had Toni Storm's debut of Wet Ink.
Wet Ink was so good.
Where she made it kind of look like she was going to get the tattoo that her and Deanna Purrazzo have matching on their ankles. It kind of looked like she was going to have it covered up, and in fact just added to it, which I thought was a real nice detail. Mm-hmm. Put a knife through the skin behind it, so you could make it storyline to where I'm cutting this off of me because it's a disgrace or whatever, but
or I'm stabbing her, or
it's
you
just
can interpret
really
that
good.
a lot of different ways.
Very excited to see that. At Revolution. We also were going to have the AEW World title defended in a three-way match between Samoa Joe, Adam Page, and Swerve Strickland. They're also going to be all in action this week on Dynamite with Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland teaming up with Brian Cage against Adam Page, Hook,
and Rob
Van Dam of all people.
It seems kind of random. Makes sense, though.
I think they needed just a 6 member that had something to do with some of the participants. Plus, he's a fan favorite, so you got to put him on the face side.
Well, just the idea.
Even though Hangman's on that side.
Yeah, but also the idea of Samoa Joe and Swerve working together.
Right.
Seems kind of crazy.
And then you also had Brian Cage cut that promo this week where he was like, don't worry about the other two on this side because Hook, I'm coming after you. So you're going to have Brian Cage who's focused on Hook. You're going to have
the FTW champion.
Joe and Swerve and Hangman are going to they're going to have their own thing. I mean,
a lot of story
Hook
here.
And Samoa Joe got beef,
right?
And then Rob Van Dam's just going to be like, I'm gonna Van Daminator anybody that gets in my way.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
It's going to be a good match.
It is definitely.
I think it's a little bloated. Personally, I think they're putting a lot of their eggs into one basket on Dynamite.
Sure.
But of course, this is the woes of the week leading up to your pay-per-view.
Right.
You're going to have to throw in your big stars into multi-man tag matches, so everybody has like some extra heat going into.
But not too much time that they're wrestling that they can get hurt.
Right,
you know what I mean? You can tag out.
So I'm sure that's going to be a great match this week. We also have this week coming up. We have FTR will be taking on Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Dax Hardwood and John had a match earlier this week. So I'm sure we're building up with something. I wouldn't be surprised if that would lead into a similar match on Revolution. There's a lot of room on Revolution for the card to expand, and Tony Khan's always got like 8 or 9 matches on the card.
Yeah, he's not afraid
2 or 3 on the pre-show.
He's not afraid to go throw quite a few matches on there.
So I'm sure we'll see something with Chris Statlander and Willow. Maybe something with the House of Black's Julia, and I'm assuming Sky Blue, who's kind of tagging with her or teaming up with her.
Yeah, speculation Julia might be hurt, which is unfortunate.
You also we were talking about Copeland and Garcia's match earlier this week, ending in a no DQ.
Yeah, like where's that going to be going? Is there going to be another match between them? Is it going to be a 3-way? They just pulled that same card.
Right.
You can only do 3 ways so many times, and
I don't think
especially in a
3-way.
pay-per-view, that would be ridiculous.
So we might see a rematch between them.
Mm-hmm.
Who
for
knows?
Christian Cage's title.
But yeah, Revolution's on the eve, but we got to watch Elimination Chamber first, and then we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. And boy, is it a busy next couple of months. This is like if you have anything to do with wrestling or podcasting in wrestling, like
this is the time.
March,
baby.
April,
this
and
is
May
Christmas.
got to be like the busy. Yeah, this is the busy time of the year. Super excited to get into it. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. I think we've talked all the talk, and I think it's time to walk on home, boy.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. If you you have not already followed us across all social media platforms,
all of them,
we are at CAW Wrestling Pod. You can find me on X. I'm at a Bacon Party.
I am also on X at Gunk Dudley. Make sure you start your week off right every Monday morning with a fresh episode of Coffee and Wrestling, a wrestling podcast posted 4 a.m. so it is up and ready before you are. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next episode. Record. You think you call it record because you're going on record?
I actually never thought about that before, but that makes a lot of sense.
You're going on record.
On record. Record the record.
Some Toni Storm. Vernaculars.
Revolution.